Hello, it's me, and I've actually got a 5 by 5 by 10. Just kidding. It's really not so much that. This is A's 5 by 5 by 4. We've gone through the 4 by 4 by 5, and now I've got the 5 by 5 by 4, which changes the dynamics a little bit. First off, this is a really, really good puzzle. For something that's mass-produced, it turns very well, much better, I think, than the 4 by 4 by 5. But then again, that was a do-it-yourself, and one thing I've learned is I should not be doing it myself. But in any case, as previously discussed, 4 by 4 by 5 does not have shape-shifting properties with it, which is okay, but it just means that the solve of this has to be really with 180-degree turns in the one angle and 90-degree turns in the other angle. So I don't solve it like a 4 by 4 or a 5 by 5 like I did before with the 5 by 5 by 7 and with other shapeshifters. So let's go ahead and finish the scramble here. Abracadabra. And there we go. So in some ways this is kind of simpler than the shapeshifters in that I don't have to get it back to the cuboid form. But at the same time, with the shapeshifters, just by solving it like a lower order version of the cube, you can get it back to the cuboid form with most of what you need already in. So I'm just going to kind of go through. It's really the same old story, but it's oftentimes fun to take your strategies and challenge yourself. But let's see if maybe in the solving of this we come about some unique properties with this that you wouldn't get otherwise. Kind of like I found with the 4 by 4 by 2, if you remember. So the first step is, of course, get my centers in over here. And I can't do it like a 3 by 3 because you can see that there's this looks like a 3 by 3 here. So I'm going to have to rotate it in the way that I showed how I rotate in the large centers here. So let's go ahead and do the signed layer first. I can move this up here. I just need 2 to put in over here. Now this part is not really the hard part or the time-consuming part, but in any case, let's roll this into over here. To do that, I roll it in, basically creating the side, turn it to the side, roll out the side I created, turn it back to roll in what I bumped aside, turn this back, turn this over here. I've gone through that technique before, but it's a way of slowly building the sides up. Now, same thing over here. This to come here. I basically build the side here, this part here, roll it to the side, take it out, roll it back, bring back the side I took out, put it in, and bring it back. So that's a quick way of doing it, and it usually doesn't get much more complicated than that. And by necessity, if I have this in, I got this in too. All right, so the next step is I'm going to put these centers in. So now we're going to put in the centers over here, and it's fairly simple to do that. Just we'll pick one that's already almost in. So 2 greens. So we'll find the other green, which is right over here. And just sort of bat this out of the way here. Place this over here. And now I'm just going to roll it. So move this here. Because I don't have any of these in, I have complete freedom to do whatever I want by moving these sides in the proper orientation. So now that I have this positioned, actually I don't. I actually can't use this one. I'm going to have to use probably this one. So turn it here, turn it like so. Now I can do it. So then I go turn over here. Once I have that here, I can easily just bump it to the side, and then I can turn this. Back. So then it's just a matter of turning this back. All right, so that's the simplest way of doing it. That's in. I'm going to stick with what I've been doing, put another green one in. So I'm going to bat this out. So turn, turn, and turn. The reason that I did that, I do those turn, and turns is to bring this back in. So it's a way of moving this out, turning it, then putting this layer back in. And now this gets turned. So double turn, and it's in. Now before I take it out, is there a way to maybe put the other green in conjunction with moving this back in? So here's the other green over here. So let's say double turn this over here. That puts this within the line of putting these guys back in. Let's move this over here. It's just a simple move like that. And I can go like this. So that way I've optimized my motions there. Whoop. So these both are in. Double turn it and move it in. So there's that. Next I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the one that's opposite this, which in this case is going to be the blue. I've got a blue over here. Well, you know, I've got two blues over here. Why don't I do that? So move it twice like that and double turning. So I just have to be aware that I've got this over here. Now if I wanted to put that at the same place so it don't get confused, I could actually do that. Double turn that, then go turn, 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 turn. This is all probably pretty basic to most of you, but it's ways of moving these without moving out what you've just moved in over here. So, double turn, this is in. So now it's just a matter of moving this out of the way, bumping this down here. This will be a problem, so I double turn it so that I can move this layer back. And no problems. What about the other blue? Well, I've got two that are already in place. This one I can try to move in conjunction with here, so why don't I roll this over to here? So I do that. To get this out of the way and not move that here, what I would do is I would double turn and then move back. So hopefully you caught that. Okay, now to put this in conjunction with here, to move this up to here, this just double turns over here and then move it back. So I've got all of my blues here now too. What I'll do then is I'll just move all of these to the side by doing this exchange. Turn, double turn, turn back, so these are all in. Now these guys generally fall in pretty nicely. I mean, you can see there's two here and a red. It's not exactly like that over here, but you can see that I already have one red over here. So I'm going to refer back to a technique that you've seen me use before, and that's a way of putting these guys in individually without messing this up. So what I actually want to do is I want to put this orange and roll it into here to solve that side. Now as it happens, I've got the other red over here, so I'm not going to mess this side up. So I'm going to go turn, turn, this is in, and this didn't really get touched, so this really wasn't a problem in this particular case. But I've got to move this back without destroying anything. And what I'd also like to do in one fell swoop is take this red and put it over here. So I can just turn this over here. This red will come over to here. So that'll solve that. But how am I going to not destroy this and this? And the answer is, let's put the same color here and the same color here, because that way when I double flip it, I'm just exchanging two equivalent sides. This isn't a supercube, so we have equivalencies that we can do here before we flip it back. So why don't I put a green one here and then a green one here? So to do that exchange, I'm going to double turn this, because the first move is just going to bat this out of the way. Turn, which bats it out of the way. Double turn it again, and now we move this orange one out. So we've just substituted the one we wanted to protect with the green. We do the same thing with the other side here too. Double turn it, move the green in here to bat it out of the way, turn it here, and then move this back. So let's see if my evil plan works. Coincide this with this stripe over here. So turn that like so. Turn this down here. So what should happen is that I'm just exchanging a green for a green, but this will come down over here. Double turn, and lo and behold, there you have it. Now this is a recurring theme that you've seen me do with these kind of centers. Now that I have all these stripes in, it's really just a matter of solving them. Okay, so what goes where? Well, if this is orange, and I'm going to use this as kind of a keystone, then right next to that is going to be blue. So I know blue belongs over here. I also know that red goes right opposite that. But I'll go ahead and put the blue over in here. So that means double turning it, and I'm going to be exchanging this for this, which means I move it in like this. Double turn, and move it back. I know red goes here, so this is all messed up. So turn, double turn, turn it back, and then move this in here, batting this red out of the way first. Turn, double turn, and back. So I'm slowing it down a little bit just to make sure that I'm not making any assumptions that people know what the heck I'm talking about. But anyway, all of my middles, so to speak, all of my centers are where they need to be. Now the fun begins. Placing these guys. Well, what I like to do is I like to focus on a dominant side first, and I usually go with the darker side just because it's easier for my eyes to see. In any case, I've got 2 red and yellows here, so I'm going to find the middle red and yellow, which is over here. I'm going to exchange it the same way, so this is going to have to end up here and just to over here. So I'm going to just double turn it. This will be the easiest one to do, and move it across. So now this just needs to rotate down here. I rotated down here, so I made this side. Now I'm going to pull this off to the side so that I can roll this back. So turn, double turn, move it back. That protects this over here, and then I can get my sides back. All right, so that's really the simple strategy that's used to build up my dominant side, so to speak. Now, notice what I did is I think this ended up turning upside down. It really doesn't matter at this point, because all I was looking for are centers and edges and things like that. So how about anyone else that's, well, we'll start working on the greens. So here's a green and yellow. Middle edge, so to speak. Here's another green over here. So I'm going to double turn this here, turn it like that, just to protect this side here. So now what I'm going to do is move this simply into place over down here. So 1, 2, and there it is. Now, before I move it to the side and just move this back, why don't I concentrate on just putting the other one in here in conjunction with turning this center back? So where's the other green? It's over here. So I'm just going to double turn this like so, and this needs to come into here. Now, what I may want to do is if I wanted to fix this in one fell swoop, this would have to come down like that. So if I wanted to coordinate things, we'll move this opposite each other, and I actually want to turn this around. So turn, 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 and this comes over here. So now I've got my green one over here, and I would like the turn to come across like this. So I would like this to be down here. So to do that, I'm just going to go double turn, this moves in, double turn back, this comes back. So it's really just a matter of positioning. And I probably did that in a more complicated way than I needed to, but anyway, this is in and this was rotated back. If that was unclear, let me know. But now I'm going to flip these guys to the same level. So turn, double turn, turn back. So these are sort of bumped out of the way. Now, what else? Well, how about the blue and yellow? Here's a blue and yellow over here. So we'll just preliminarily move that in like so, like that. Now, the other blue and yellow is over here. Okay, we want to keep it within this line. So I'm going to keep this over here. And what I want to do is double turn this. And in so doing, I can just turn this back. So now that's in. So simple stuff so far, right? Let's move this off to the side by that same technique. And now our oranges have to come in. All right, so here's an orange center, orange and yellow. Double turn that in here, and there that is. Now, what can I do to move the other orange in? Well, let's find it first. It's right over here. So I have to move this in. So turn, turn, turn. So orange and yellow is over here. Now, notice that I'm going to disrupt the green and white, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. Just one thing at a time. So I want to move this in. So I'm just going to double turn this, and then I'll go turn, turn. All right, so this is where it needs to be. So I'm going to load this to all of my yellow sides. This too is already filled, so I'm just going to move it into here. So I'm going to exchange this with this, turn, 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 and I'm free to do whatever the heck I want over here. Bang. Okay, once I've done that, as you recall, and I hope it went slow enough this time, we can see that this actually came out supposed to be. What you can do is hold it like this so that these are coinciding here, double turn, and then turn this around and double turn. Now I could put algorithms to that by going U, R, but I think we've moved beyond that. But if you need me to, let me know. Anyway, once I do that, once I put one edge that I've, a triple edge that I've put in, go ahead and put that in the proper layers here. So this is red, put this in the red side here. Now this is blue here, so move it here and double turn it down. Green, double turn it down. So this all should be good and you have your cross. What about the top here? Well, this is where the fun continues. There could be a variety of different orientations, but for now, what I'm going to do is when I'm working on placing and making my edges here, I'm going to look at these first like they were corners, where you have two corners over here with these just as extended pieces in one center. And I'm going to solve it as such. Just solve it as though this were a 3 version, like a 3 by 3 by 4. Same thing as with the 3 by 3 by 4. I'm going to look for a sandwich here. If I can't find one, well, then I'm going to make one. What I could do is I could do some swapping. Put this to here and this to here. This is where I'm going to look at these like it was one edge and swap them as such by doing moves like this. If I look at these as corners and I'm doing corner swaps, then I'm going to move it like this. So actually, if I move this to here and this to here, I'll end up with an orange one here. This orange can then come over here and make me a sandwich. Alternatively, I can put a side in just by putting this to here and this to here. Let's do that. So adjacent middle swap, 2R, U, 2R, U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. So I middle swapped these two so that I can put this in conjunction with this. Now I'm going to turn these into corners, extended corners, and do a corner swap. And that algorithm, as you recall, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. This turns with a UI, this turns as a D. Then 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. Then the result is this side is placed. Move this back here, and let's see what we got here. What I'm going to be shooting for now is swap these two so that this orange one can come over to here. 2RU, 2RU, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2RU, 2R, UI, 2R. Okay, no problems. So these two, this corner we're going to swap to over here. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, turn and turn. This is our R now. 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. Okay. Inevitably, what's going to happen is we put that in, we put this in, but we've got a situation here where these guys have to be put in. Well, to put this in is we just have, in this case, we just treat this like this was the center. This was the edge, rather, and these are the corners, and we just do a middle edge swap. Now, to those of you who are astute and understood what I've been doing in the past, you'll realize that I'm about to cause parity when I do this, and that parity is going to run to here. But we know how to get out of that, and I'm glad that I showed it so that I can demonstrate it. Because right now we're dealing with just these guys, where these guys here, these outer edge pieces, are going to be more like extensions. And this is our true edge, so to speak. So the adjacent middle swap is going to be 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R. We did place this, and we placed this, but we have parity here. How are we going to get out of that parity? Well, we've been through this, so, oh goody, I get to show you again. But ignoring these parts here, to get through the parity of these sides, you move them so that you have both parities on the right and the left side, and then you do the URF algorithm. Now, if you saw the 5 by 5 by 6, you see just how repetitive this is, but it works, so why not? You start off with this being U, that's 2U, 2R, 2F, and this has to be your F because we're cutting through here, to F, and then you go 2U, then slice it just above 2U, and then we have 2F, 2R, 2U, and that will take your parity out. To which you may say, great, fantastic, but what about the fact that these guys, isn't this kind of a parity? Am I going to go like this and do all that? And the answer is no. Don't do that, because now we can treat this whole thing as an edge. We can do another adjacent edge swap here, but not worry about parity here, because we haven't even solved that yet. So no problems. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. And we're good, because all we wanted to do was place these guys. So now we have all of our edges, and we have now collapsed this into a 3 by 3 by 4. And we solve it accordingly. Starting off with this, we're basically going to be taking things from this top layer, bringing it down here, and then we're going to have special ways of solving that here. So blue and orange. Do we have a blue and orange here? And we don't, so we move on. Orange and green. And yes, over here. So now I'm going to move these as one, and the algorithm to turn this down here, to flip this, the edge switch here, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. We got it here, and we keep going. Okay, now we just do this layer. This layer we don't borrow from any other layers. With this layer we just do it, we find our sandwich formation. Basically what I mean by sandwich is that we just have a middle here that we have to swap, or an edge, however you want to look at it. This is solved. This will move to here, and that will give us our sandwich. So 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. And we just move this to the side, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. We just move it to the side because we don't have any middles to orbit it around, so it becomes its own middle, so to speak. So we just have a bunch of middles here that we have to swap. So let's swap these two. 2R, U, 2R, U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. You can see how great the movement is with this puzzle. These two are solved. Same thing with the bottom layer, orange and green. There we go, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. This is in. We have our parity here, so we don't move it from here. Red and green. We'll just move that here. Here's our red and green. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. Okay, so all of these are in. We have parity here. We don't worry about that. That might come out in the wash. Look for sandwich. Sandwich right here. This is moved to the left. And we do a adjacent corner swap, which will put this right over here, which will give us sandwiches everywhere. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. Now we do have to orbit around the center. We don't want to move this, so this moves UI, this moves D. 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. We'll move this back. So we basically have just edges. Swap these two, it'll take this parity out. 2R, U, 2R, U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. Now, we solved it, but what if we had parity? Well, I think you can guess what happened, but let's kind of go through it just in case. So let's say we did have that situation. Just like we did when the parity was here and we had to use this is our U move and this is our F move. It's the same thing, only this is our F move. So just to show how easy that is, hold it here, 2U, 2R, 2F, only it's just sliced over here. Then we slice it again the same way that we started off with, 2U, and then the U is over here, 2U, then 2F, 2R, 2U, and now we can say that we've got it solved, and your 5 by 5 by 4 by A has been conquered, has been solved. Next up, the 5 by 5 by 10. No, I'm just kidding. But if that does exist, let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching. More cuboids to come.